What's up, people? It's another edition of the New Breed Podcast, the world's best quasi-new metal podcast from two dudes who are really there. I'm one half of your hosting duo, Jay Horsecow. With me, I have my partner in crime, the notorious Tim Anderson Jr. Tim, how is it going?
Great.
Talk about breath control. I did that all in one breath. And joining us, once again, the celebrity irregular regular, to talk about their monster new album, A Door Left Open, Mr. Adam Easterling. Adam, thank you for joining.
Thank you guys for having me back after, I don't know, it's been like over a year since I've been on the show, it feels like.
It has definitely been a
You're
bit.
you're a busy
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, well, you're on the way up. So let's start off by saying the first quote I took with my notes. This is not your daddy's Orthodox. This new album. Tim, am I wrong? Adam's got obviously his opinion. What were your first thoughts when you got to say track four?
I just
By the time
kept
you got to
going,
track four, what were you like?
I just kept going like this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, it's dude, listen, man, the last record was heavy, but this one is on another level. It's just
Uh,
another level.
I was convinced that I was listening to the wrong album. I kept looking like this is an. I will say this: the Orthodox sound doesn't show up until halfway through track three, maybe even track four. And I know that was definitely not purposeful, but this is a fucking monster. Like holy shit. And we're not here just so we can just tell Adam how great we think he is. We really do think the album is fantastic. I mean, the shorter songs, right? That's the first thing that jumped out at me. Well, to Adam, what do they average? About two and a half? About most of the
I
songs,
think there's only two songs that go over 3 minutes.
which is awesome,
Yeah.
right? I mean, in today's ADHD world, the first song is what a minute and okay. Let's just talk about the fucking intro. Tim, start.
Yeah, well, you before we talk about that, you guys are gonna be super surprised at what my favorite song on the record is. I think Adam's gonna be like, really?
You're going to say the last song.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Shit, I don't remember.
Dude, you know me so well, dude. That track is fucking unbelievable, dude.
Yeah, it's because you like it because it has the 90s sad movie montage part.
See, this is why this is
Yeah.
you knew it right away. And but I'll tell you what, the moshy part that goes with it is fucking
Mhm.
unbelievable, dude.
Yeah.
I incredible song, dude.
Thank you.
It's every record you guys do, I always like one of the last three tracks. I'm like, yeah, it's my favorite track.
That's funny.
Like learning to dissolve. It's track 11. Is it track 11?
All that
Uh,
I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking
what
banger.
was the one that I fucking loved? Orthodox is sneaky good as a band when it comes to sequencing because they always put somewhere deep in the album, there's one or two heaters deep in the B side where most people would have given up by this point. And it's like, oh shit, they're still going. Holy shit, I just got
Yeah.
punched in the face. Where's my notes here?
We
It's
kind
it's
of we like kind of deliberately did that with this one. So in total, including Commit to Consequence, which we released before the Comeback Kid tour in February, we released that just because Goose was on the song, so we wanted to put that out before. So it's not technically a single from the record, but it is a song from the record. So in total, we released 5 songs off the record, if you include the one that's focused on the day that the record comes out. So we released Commit to Consequence, Searching for a Pulse, Sacred Place, Keep Your Blessing, One Less Body. All 5 of those songs, that is 5/6 of the B
The B
side.
side. Yeah.
So
Was that
that was a
was that
very deliberate
intentional?
thing.
Oh, that was
Mhm.
intentional.
Good, because end of the day, like if you're lucky, kids will listen to the rest of the record nowadays. So the whole thing was we felt very strong about the front half. And when we did the sequencing, we were like, this is how this flows the best, regardless of what comes out when. But I kind of kept it in the back of my head of like, kids are going to listen to the back half because those are going to be the singles. So let's flood the front half where people pay attention before they skip to the next whatever, and flood the front half with bangers that are not necessarily like they're not the deepest songs, they're not the craziest songs, but they're like catchy and intent. They have their own intention, their own purpose, and kind of kick it off on its own note. Like I personally think that tracks 1 through 3 is just like this subsequent ass kicking, as if like you get beat up to the ground and then somebody else comes up and kicks you and then somebody else comes up and kicks you.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like you have that all the way through track 4, where it's like the new metal bouncy song that ends up having the crazy slam thing with Matt McDougall, And then Godless Grace is like this slow thing. It's like this one deep breath you get to take, and then the back half where all the crazy songs starts. So it's kind of like we wanted you to feel like you had the pedal to the floor, but then we wanted to feel like the floor fell out.
Mhm.
As a fan, to me, it's always suspect when a band releases the first song on the new album as the single, because you're like, well, is this going to be the best song, and it's all downhill from
Hmm.
here? Um, which I think a lot of bands are starting to release some of the deeper stuff. I was just we were just talking about before we started recording Gridiron. The lead off
Yeah.
single was what, track 11, track
Yep.
12, like
Talk real talk. Talk. Wait.
Talk Real.
Talk real. Dope
Yeah,
song.
yeah, it's
Is that the one where he says your employee of the month of the bitch store?
no, I
Or
think
is that
that's
mascot?
mascot. But at the
God,
show,
dude.
they had a big picture. It said Gridiron, and then it said at the bottom, "Employee of the month at the bitch store," and in the middle was a mirror.
Hilarious.
And I'm like, this is this is brilliant. Like that's great.
Hilarious.
um,
Yeah.
yeah, so when it started, right? So the album starts, and you had that climbing, guitar riff, and then you have a fucking Adam war cry, which I think it's the first time I've ever heard that, and I was like. And then you went right into the swing riff. And I was Mike will tell you, because he was up, he was on Instagram. I was texting him because I think you weren't awake. I was like, yo, what the fuck did you guys do with this album? Like, are you
Yeah.
kidding me? Like, this is unreal. And then I was like live blogging it as I was going. I was you got a mosh part of 52 seconds into that song, and then you slow it down to double time it, and then slow it again. Like that, this is gonna be literally people hitting each other, just hitting each other.
Yeah, that song was actually a song that Austin had written for his other band, A Dozen Black Roses. And then when we were putting stuff together, he sent that to me and was like, "What would you think of this as an Orthodox song?" And I was like, "I don't know if I like it. Like it's insane." But like we only had through the two like fake out parts and then the D beat that follows that. Um and then when we like built the rest in the studio with like where the sliding riff comes back in and then the final breakdown and all that. And so I wasn't really sure how it was going to end. And I also like listening to some of the stuff that was getting sent around for this record in my head. I was like, how the fuck am I ever going to write lyrics to parts of these songs? And so initially I wasn't a big fan of it, but then the more I listened to it, I was like, oh, this is the intro. This is like where the record starts. And it was actually like the first line is dragged out a door left open. For the longest time, I was like, I don't know what I'm going to say here, but it has to be so important. And we hadn't even come up with the album. Well, I had an album title idea before we ever went in. I wanted to call it A Door Left Open. And what sold it to Randy and the rest of the guys was when I tracked that, and I was like, "This is the first thing you hear is this." And I tracked that, and Randy goes, "Yep, that's the title."
It works.
And I played it for the guys, and they were all like, "Yep, cool, okay, now we know." And so that was a really cool. I don't know. I feel like that song is a very cool start because I don't know a single record that starts with a riff like that.
Mm-mm.
I don't know if I've ever
No.
heard a riff. I don't know how Austin came up with it, but it's a very crazy start to a record, and it's just like sixth gear emergency brake, eighth gear emergency brake, sixth gear emergency, just
Yeah.
whiplash the whole time. And I was like, if you want to leave an impression on what the like on a full on like you don't know what you're about to get into level, I feel like that was the best way we could go about it. So
Well, the entire record is basically song ends and then it just beats the shit out of you right away again. Like every song is like that, and that's what I
Mhm.
find like very great about it. It's like, all right, man. Like usually bands by the sixth song they take a rest. You get a little interlude here. There, no, it's just complete chaos the whole
That's
time.
yeah,
that's a good point, Tim, because a lot of the songs stop and then the next one starts, and there's
It's
not
just
like
right
there's
into it.
not
Yeah.
the ego fade outs, right? Or like the weird samples in the middle. It's just like, no, once I'm done punching you in the face, we're gonna take a minute, and then I'm gonna punch you in the face again, and then we're gonna take a
yep.
minute, I'm gonna punch you in the face again, and it's
Well, what is it?
nonstop.
The first song has that like saying at the end. I forget what you say exactly. I listened to it earlier. What the hell is that again? Is it a
Talk about the
is it you?
sample.
Yeah, is it a sample or you?
Oh, it's my buddy Andy Atkins who sang for that band, A Plea for Purging.
Okay.
He we played 2 shows with them right before we went into the studio last year, like just reunion shows that they did because they were a big deal out here in Nashville. And he blew his voice because he hadn't screamed in like 10 years. And so outside of the show, after it was done, he was just like, he's a very funny person. So he was just rambling on. He's like, yeah, I just thank you guys for doing this, blah, blah, blah. He's like, I was talking smack up there, but like, I love you guys, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, what'd you say? And I like pulled my phone out. And I have this like minute and a half long voicemail of him being like, I'm so happy you guys are like out there and like, you're chasing your dreams and all this. He's like, but you're never gonna fucking be me, bud. And like just it just goes in. It's like you're never gonna achieve the level of greatness that I've achieved in my life. And then at the end of it, he goes, and if you got a problem with it, I'll whoop your ass. And then we were talking about wanting to have some like funny samples throughout the record because we loved that weird dichotomy in like the early Slipknot records and so on, and just new metal in general. And we also like we kind of felt like if we're going to be so intense the whole time, we can't make it seem like we're taking ourselves too seriously.
Fair. That's fair.
And so I was like, oh, this could be a good placeholder as like a sample right before we kick into the second song, and we put it there. And I was like, they were like, oh no, that's just it. That's just what we're gonna do. I was like, yeah, all right. So we kept it.
Yeah, there's not. I mean, the only record I can think of to this day right now that probably goes on the same pace for the whole record is probably that Last Chamber record. I mean, that one is just chaos the whole time as well.
Yeah, they do. They never. They go right into fifth gear and then don't come off it. Yeah, that's a fair approximation.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they are one of the most relentless bands, and I would say the most underrated band in metalcore. I think I say that almost every time I'm on this podcast, but I'm a Chamber truther through and through.
I don't disagree. I mean, the last time I saw them, God, it was with Dying Fetus, and
Mhm.
they were. I mean, they were the best out of the four bands that played support. They were the best one up there. No offense to Despised Icon. No offense to Acacia Strain. Chamber literally whooped everybody's ass on the way in the door to the point where they finished, and there were people looking around like, "The
Who
fuck was that?"
Yeah.
I'm just amazed that every time I see that band, I can't believe how talented they are, and they can just go up there and just shred like that. Like it's just
Oh, bro.
fucking.
Try being a band. Try taking them on tour and following it.
Nah, I'm good.
It's they are one of those bands that inspires you to the point where it almost inspires you to just do something else. Like it's just so nuts that you're like, okay, well, why am I here?
Yeah,
Like it's
Yeah.
just so crazy, man.
It's like that video, Tim, I sent you of Cannibal Corpse rehearsing Frantic Disembowelment, where the first
Oh
comment
yeah.
is, "This makes me so stoked to never pick up the guitar again," because it's just like I can't compete.
Yep.
But by the way, track two, Tim, it passes the track two test. We have a theory here,
Oh
Adam,
fuck
that
yeah.
every band is lazy and puts their best song first. And if you really want to know if the album's going to be good, you fast forward through the first song, you go right to the second song. And
Yep.
if that's still a heater, that means they've still got it. And yeah, you guys don't come off. You literally don't come off the gas. You don't come off the gas at all. And my notes were, Jesus Christ, moshing at 45 seconds in, help me. That's what my note is right here.
I am so excited to play that breakdown live.
Hmm.
That is like probably the toughest breakdown this band has ever written. It's just one of the punchiest, dumbest things. And the song is literally about getting hit by a bus. So it like we wrote I think Mike actually had a video of him playing that drum fill, and then Ben sat down with Randy and wrote that intro riff to it. And then I was like, this sounds like getting hit by a bus. So I literally went upstairs and wrote lyrics about getting hit by a bus. And I wanted to call the song Bus. I wanted it to be like our big truck, but everybody else decided against it, and we went with Body Chalk, which I still think is a good name, but Bus would have been
It's
cooler, in
hard.
my
It's a
opinion.
hard name, dude. It's
Yeah.
hard.
But
Just boss, yeah.
Yeah, I love that song. It's one that I'm very excited to play live. We've never done anything that short before. Even like I think the interlude song 11/7/62 I think is even longer than that song is. So yeah, it's that one's gonna be a lot of fun, I think.
I'll say one thing, man. Your vocals, like, not that they were bad on Learning to Dissolve, they weren't bad ever. Like, but they have improved dramatically, man. Like, they're just like even I just watched a video you guys from the last Philly show you played, and it was fucking on point there, even live. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, dude. But then I started remembering, didn't you were saying you did some like vocal lesson or coaching with somebody,
Yep.
right? Okay.
Yeah, I went to David Benitez like 3.5 weeks before we left for tour, or before we left for the studio. I started taking lessons from David, partially just for the sake of like longevity and figuring out how to hold my voice and be able to sustain it better. Because anytime that we'd gone into the studio before, it was always super stressful for me because I hated tracking vocals because I never screamed walking around my house. I hated doing it if I wasn't in the moment live. And he showed me some exercises. He showed me that like I was using the wrong set of vocal folds to begin with. He was like, "Oh, well, if you want to sound like this, then you need to use your false chord vocal, which is in here and not up here." And
Mm.
showed me how to activate that and how to teach my brain to activate that. And through like 3 lessons, basically taught me how to do it. And then the first time I really got to sit down and incorporate it was when the first song we tracked was the one that we'll probably talk about next is Dread Weight.
Mm.
And it was just from the jump, just an immediate difference in to the point where like Randy looked at me and was just like, I can't like pointed at the screen. It's like, I can't believe that's you. Like just, and I can honestly say for me, it's hard for me to listen to my old stuff now because of how much better this record sounds. It's like almost a bummer. Uh, but I guess I'm just glad to finally fucking be here. I don't know.
I mean, a lot of times we talk about bands that, in between albums they level up, and it's typically hyperbole, right? Like, things don't get better, or whatever. There is a clear learning to dissolve is great, but there is a clear evolutionary step in not only your performance but Mike's drumming, the stuff that Austin has written, like crank it up to 11. Well, this goes to 11, but it's. I kind of struggle to even put it into words that don't sound so like cheesy. It's just you can literally tell that the last album, the last tour cycle ended, you guys all went off, did your thing, and then when you came back together, it was like you reconstituted at a brand new, refreshed parts. And I get Adam, I still can't believe it's you. Like at one point, I'm like, who is this deathcore Adam? What song is that? Searching for a Pulse. Where did deathcore Adam come from? 2 minutes 23 seconds.
Yeah.
It's way different, and not that to your point. Not that the old stuff was bad. This is just evolutionarily a step in maturity where I I am really excited to see where the tour goes and where everything goes after this for you guys. Like I'm really stoked.
And before Adam goes, I just want to add to that. I think what you guys did in the syncopation route of the record, like that works so well with you guys because everything just seems syncopated with like, especially Mike and Austin. It's just like every riff is just met with the drums perfectly, and then his fills, man. And we talked about this on the out there episode we released today. Like
Hmm.
he has some of the best imaginative like fills I've heard in a long time. And we've told you this before. We told Mike this probably 33 times on the episode. Like the dude is just a fucking amazing drummer, man. Like you,
Yeah.
like he's seriously like I listen to him drum and I just get angry at how good he is.
He is it's funny because like I tracked the first LP for Orthodox, right? Like I wrote all the drums up to that point, tracked that record, wrote the drums for the second LP, and then third LP is Learning to Dissolve. And Mike like really slaved away for the entire Randy tracks drums last. So he was practicing that stuff every day, trying to like get to where he could play it because it was a substantial level up for him. And I think in learning how to, because a lot of those fills is the like you talking about the syncopation and such is it's because some of it is written by Austin, who
Okay.
is a guitarist. And what does a guitarist
That's
do
what
when
he
they're writing a drum
hears.
fill is they say, what does a drum do to my guitar? And so Mike was never that kind of drummer in terms of like matching the guitar. He played drum parts that complement the guitar, so on and so forth. And so kind of having to teach his brain to like approach drums in that way, I think helped a lot with this one. And then to y'all's point about like the leveling up, I think it's not even necessarily it doesn't even necessarily feel like a level up so much as it's just like a showing up late to the party a little bit. Like we kind of just I think the last record, the record, Sounds of Lost, we kind of like figured out like, oh, we're supposed to be a weird band, Let It Take Its Course, we might have tried to be weird. Learning to Dissolve, we tried to like reel that in, and we tried to make like a metal thing that we thought would represent the demographics we were trying to reach. And then in playing those songs so much over touring that cycle, we realized nobody gives a fuck about our like power chorus. Nobody
Yeah.
cares about like the artsy side of us. Like people like our extremities. And so we just I think also we learned in all the parts that we thought might be a little too much on the last record, thrived. And so we're like, okay, well let's just fucking do it.
Hit the
We like
gas.
learned
Yep.
we like watched all these people react to like the way that people were just getting KO'd to the opening riff of Cave In before anything ever even happens. Stuff like that. I'm like, okay, so we're supposed to be the band that makes the noise that you didn't know could come from a guitar. And we're supposed to be the band that plays the breakdown that the band after us doesn't want to follow. Like that's our role now. Is we are the scary band. If you're not watching, I'm putting air quotes up. We're the scary band, and we just really leaned into that. And I think it lent to us writing what we wanted, like what we genuinely enjoyed the most. And then it also allowed us to, as you said, like really do some freaky shit. And it naturally causes songs like Keep Your Blessings, where the guitar is like basically just playing one part one time over and to just keep you off your game. And then Mike's just following it perfectly because he's just leveled up so much. And then Austin is finally like, no holds barred. Like, I'm going to put this insane shit out there because we want it there now. Because, I mean, on the last record, there was a lot of stuff where we were like, hey, tone that back a little bit. And then this one, we're like, fucking whatever. Just let it rip.
That song alone, he has an accelerating breakdown, which is
Yeah.
that's great to hear as from a fan, right? With like, oh my god, he's picking up speed. Holy shit, they're not stopping. Well, somebody's getting punched in the nose when we see this live.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really cool to it's been a lot of fun to witness Mike constantly growing, especially as long as he's been playing to like hit this huge stride kind of late in, not even late necessarily, but like after touring and playing in bands for like over a decade. And now he's like, oh, I'm going to really push this now. To see that is awesome. And then to also see Austin be Austin without us holding him back for like the sake of what we think is approachable or digestible. And we're just like, honestly, if they don't get it, fuck them. Who cares anymore? Like, you might like the next song, you might not. I just. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun to like you. It's funny that you said like, oh, you didn't feel like the Orthodox sound came through until the third or fourth song, but I'm like, to me, the Orthodox sound is as soon as the record starts because who the fuck else would make
Fair,
that noise
fair.
aside from Austin?
And the fact that the story you just told about how you've always had these leanings, but as a band, you were like, hey, let's take it down a notch. That leads me to believe that that monster has always been there. And now you let the cuckoo out of the clock, and now shit's going fucking insane.
Oh yeah,
I
and
will. I will tell you, Adam. Probably the most complimentary thing in my mind that I can pay to you is I'm a huge Boundaries fan. And the biggest thing about Boundaries is Matt's vocals sound like he gargles a
yep,
fucking cheese grater, right?
yep.
I will say beyond a shadow of a doubt in that song, not only do you go toe to toe with him, I actually think you sound a little bit better. And when I listened to that, I was like, I can't believe I'm actually writing this down right now. But holy shit, Adam, you hold your fucking own, dude. Like,
I'll the version that just has me doing that part, and we'll see. And
yeah.
because I wrote that part originally with Vincent Bennett in mind from A Casey
Which
String. I
that would have
was
been interesting. Yeah.
yeah it's a straight edge song, so I was like, okay, straight edge friend has to do it. Vincent was just not in a spot where he was able to do it, but we were talking about like who else could we do, and I was like, dude, Matt on some like mean sounding shit would be pretty crazy. And when he literally, I was like, yo, would you do this? He was like, dude, I'd be honored. Yeah. And that day, he sends me a video of him tracking the part. And we're like, whoa, okay. and it was just fucking huge. It was just so. In metalcore, I think he is my favorite vocalist. I think he gets a lot of recognition for how good he is in Boundaries, but I don't think Boundaries, especially now, lends him many opportunities where he can show you how evil he can sound.
That's fair. That's
Like there's a
fair.
couple
Yeah.
on the new record where you're just like, whoa, this is crazy. Like I think it's like track 2 off their new record. I think I even talked about this when it came out. Maybe even on this, but he goes in and he says like the second song is like ramping up right before it goes into the crazy power violence song, and he says like, "What's it gonna be like when I cut your fucking head off, you stupid motherfucker?" And it's just like, dude, what? Like, what did you just say? Like, and it's just funny that like that line is in the same record as like Easily Erased, which is like Tim singing the most Seosin ass chorus you've ever heard, aside from Seosin. And like it, yeah. So getting Matt on that, I was already juiced because Matt is one of my favorite people. Boundaries is some of our best friends. And then when he came out and did it, I was like, bro, this is gonna be one of those guest spots where people who haven't listened to you because maybe they saw you on a Beartooth tour and they didn't fucking care, they're gonna hear that and be like, oh my god, maybe I need to listen to this band.
Well,
No,
that kind of lends to what I wanted to bring back real quick about Austin. I don't know if he knows it yet, but like you're gonna see a lot of bands in heavy extreme music. They're gonna take his style and try and make it their own because the stuff that I've been seeing, like today before we got on, like I went through a shitload, and I also want to talk about this too because this pisses me off. But I went through a bunch of reaction vids and was just reading the comments from people, and I mean every single reaction vid I seen, there'd be like 10 comments where it would say album of the year, album of the year, and I'm like, dude, that's really really says something because I didn't really see it much with Learning to Dissolve. I mean, obviously, it was in a shitload of people's list. I'm not trying to say it was bad
Sure,
in any
sure.
way, but the reaction to this record, and it's been out almost not even a week, dude, you
Yep.
guys have something crazy going on because
brewing. There's something brewing. Yeah.
dude, the people are losing their fucking minds with this record. And not to mention, I went to the Poison the Well show and I seen fucking Orthodox shirts everywhere. Everybody was
Was it,
wearing Orthodox
bro? Was it
shirts.
in? Where did you go in Philly?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was in Philly. Yeah.
Dog, I don't I don't know. I'm going to say this on the record. I don't know how we went through so many passes of our tour routing and I never thought like, "Oh, we need to make sure we do Philly." I don't know how that happened, but like we released like the tour flyer. Obviously, once we've been booking that tour since last August, couldn't get a lineup settled until like 3 weeks before we announced it. And as soon as we announced it, one of the first comments was like, "No Philly is crazy." And I was like, "Oh my fucking god, you're right. No Philly is crazy."
I said the same thing
How
to
the
Jay. I'm
fuck did
like,
we
is he
not go to
nuts?
Philly?
My buddy Dan was at the same show as Tim, and he texted me and he goes, "Yo, you should see the amount of Orthodox shirts here."
Dude, it's
Dude,
fucking crazy.
I genuinely, our Philly shows just keep getting crazier and crazier and to the point where like we're seeing it spill over to like the Comeback Kid show that we just did at Underground Arts. That is not our show. It's a 20-year of Wake the Dead. And our set was fucking nuts.
Yeah.
Like
That's the show I
fucking
watched.
nuts. And even literally, I think I may have even said on stage, like, we'll see you this summer. Because in my head, I'm like, oh, we're definitely coming to Philly. Duh, we're coming to Philly. I don't know how that happened. I'll publicly state I'm sorry, Philly. I don't know where I can say I'm pretty sure a fall tour that we're doing is coming to Philadelphia. But I genuinely have no fucking idea how we did not end up in Philadelphia on this headline.
I mean,
But
I
Tim,
mean,
sorry,
worst case,
dude.
we derail their tour bus and they can play in my backyard. I got plenty of space.
Yeah,
the fact
right.
that you
I'll
think
just
we're in a
rent.
bus is so cute.
But in all seriousness, like and again, but I knew I what I got out of this album was basically what I was expecting because I remember telling you, Adam, when I saw you guys on that co-headliner you did with Boundaries and No Cure, um, all those bands were all trying to play each other off the stage.
Mhm.
And that's when
It's a
you can
special
tell
tour.
you've got bands that are all, I mean, and a in a collaboratively competitive way, not like a hey, fuck you, follow this. It's more of a I'm up here, you got to match this, and it was wild to see. But yeah, I'm definitely stoked.
Yeah,
Uh,
man, that tour was the exact energy that like you want in a tour. You want that like, hey, I'm about to fuck up your night kind of thing. Like, but in like literally, I'll never forget. We were on tour with Boundaries with Varials in like 2022. The first tour we did after Learning to Dissolve came out, we played Denver, and our set was bananas, absolutely crazy. And for some reason, there was like $1 on stage. I don't know why. I picked it up, and as I'm walking off stage, I handed it to Corey from Boundaries. I said, "Hey, man, I figured I should just give this to you since you got to follow that." And like, I just wanted to say I'm sorry. And then they have a set that's absolutely just insane. And he walks over to me before he even unplugs his guitar and goes, "Hey, you might want this back." And I was just like, "God damn it!" Like that's the shit that I love. And literally the moment that I knew what that tour lineup was, I was like, "That's going to be something special." And it's the same thing with that headliner they're about to do with Stick to Your Guns, Gates to Hell, and Psycho Frame.
yeah, that's
Gonna be
nuts.
insane.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
Well, look at you guys. Who you guys lined up? That Tim, you listen to that new mugshot?
I was going to get into this, but I want to get into this real quick before we talk about Mugshot. I need to understand why every time we do a reaction vid, it gets flagged instantly. But I seen someone do a full fucking album listen and react to it. I'm like, fucking Century Media doesn't take this down, but they fucking hate us.
We got to talk to what's her name, the PR
Sonia.
lady. She
Yeah,
she said she'd help us get whitelisted. Yeah,
yeah.
I don't, people message me about this, and I'm like, brother, I don't know what makes you think I know anything about copyright law,
Yeah. Well,
but
no, I wasn't asking you. I was
not the
just
guy.
saying
Oh,
it's
it's
I know
just
you're
it's
not. I
super
just,
it's
aggravating.
aggravating.
you be like the amount of people that like tweet at us and like tag us, like, why don't you let me post your stuff? I'm like, I almost want to respond and just say it's personal. I'm like, what do you fucking
I
think?
don't
Like,
like you.
yeah, your videos suck. That's why we don't want you doing it. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
but
no,
it's like crazy. Like, hey, how come you do the whole album? We do 3 minutes
Yeah,
and we get killed,
we can't go anywhere near
fuckers.
Century Media, and yet we're literally the unofficial Unique Leader podcast, and they never So Adam, let me ask you, what's your favorite track on the album? If you had to
I
pick one.
I love Step Inside. Um, Originally that song was actually called A Door Left Open. That is where the whole like concept that the record kind of blossomed out of started for me. Um, and I think that song does a really good job of showcasing everything that this record does, and then even some things that we did from the last record that don't show up as much on this one. Um, for instance, like I don't know, I think that record, I think that song showcases Orthodox. Like that song is Orthodox. It's super fast double kick from the jump with a riff that goes into a groove that goes into a two step. It's got my favorite drum fill in the entire record. It's got my favorite groove element of the entire record, and then it even kind of goes into like a slam that breaks down in a way that's almost like counterintuitive. Like it doesn't get heavier; it just starts getting weirder. The way that the
Mm,
song ends, and kind of like it's kind of almost a callback into the way things I used to approach things because I don't hardly talk on this whole record, but I talked a ton on the previous records because I was trying to save my voice. And on this record, it's like I don't got to do that anymore. But that song ends with like a spoken word, and so that song to me encompasses everything that Orthodox has succeeded at to this point. And I also think on a personal, like kind of egotistical note, that is by far the craziest vocal performance I've had ever.
uh, that is my favorite song on the album, and I have the
Yeah.
exact same notes. So I'm like, holy shit! So we start with a double kick, we go from a double kick blast into a two step, then we go into jump mosh, then we have a straight up mosh part, and then it turns into a prison ride straight through to the end. That's my notes verbatim. But yeah, you're right. This is by far the most insanely aggressive song I think you guys have ever put together.
Yeah, it is just it's cool because I also love how it just starts off like an early Slipknot song
Good
and it's
call.
all like chaotic and like desperate, and then it kind of goes into that like like it goes into like this name a band, Chimera, fucking Snapcase, whatever of that era, lead over this breakdown thing. The breakdown itself feels kind of hate breedish, but then it like chokes, and then from that moment on, it is just so dark. Like the entire mood just changes. And I love when a song ends, you forget how it starts. Like if it can make you forget, like how did we get here so seamlessly without and having no idea where we started at. I think that song does it really well. Um, and I also think lyrically, like I said, it's where everything blossomed conceptually, and I feel very strong about. I think that song and Sacred Place are probably the best, like lyrically, the best things on the record for me.
Dude, I want to add one thing to about the record that I find special, in my opinion. There's a ton of fucking bands these days in the metalcore scene, deathcore scene. We'll add that in as well. That you automatically know what kind of mosh part you're getting. You know what I mean? Like Jay probably knows what I'm talking about here. It's
Sure.
either the syncopated mosh part where it's just like the guitar goes right
Mhm.
with it, and you've heard it 3 million times at this rate. Then they add a panic chord in. It's like, all right, cool. I've heard it 3,000 times. The way that Austin writes them riffs, or I don't know if the other guitar player writes anything, so I don't want to sound like a dick. But the way that Austin writes the mosh parts, they're like free flowing mosh instead of like, oh, I already know what's coming here, so we can mosh here. Like the way he's writing them mosh parts, it's just like it's a completely different level of fucking extreme, in my opinion. I don't know if you exactly know what I'm saying. It makes sense to me though.
No, I
Mhm.
get it. There's no rote predictability where you know that, oh,
Yeah,
here comes the two step into the China, into the four on the floor. There, it's all over the place, and each song is a different
yeah.
recipe. Yeah, no, I
And
agree. I would agree.
I seriously feel like you guys have your own brand of like extreme going right now, and this lends to what I'm saying too about where I think you're going to see a lot of young kids. They're going to pick up them fucking effects pedals and they're going to try and replicate all them sounds that he does, and I think you're going to start seeing that a lot because whether you like it or not, Adam, you guys are going to from this tour right here you guys are just going to keep going up and up and up
Mhm.
because that record, I'm telling you, dude, if you go on and read them reactions, man, the fucking people are all about this record. Like, you guys really outdid yourselves on this, man. Like,
Thank
it's
you.
an incredible fucking record, dude.
Mhm.
I will counter your point a little bit with Decibel Magazine, who gave us a 2 out of 10.
What, for this one? Get the
Yes, sir.
fuck out
What?
of
Yes,
here, dude.
sir.
I want to fight that dude, whoever that is.
Oh man, no, I think it's hilarious. I think getting a 2 is so fucking insane that I'm like, that's better than getting a 10. Like,
Yeah,
that's
not actually.
crazy.
It
That's
is. Yeah.
crazy. Because I'm like, okay, you don't like, clearly you just don't like what we do.
Hmm.
That's how we are for everybody. But to listen to our record, to hear myself aside, to hear the instruments that are going on and be like, oh, this is a 20 percenter for sure. Okay, man. I it's like it cracked me up when Sonia from Century hit up hey, Decibel wrote a really mean review and you guys should probably like just be aware of it. And then I got it and I was like, oh, I guess sure. I guess it's mean. But like the guy even goes so far as to say like Braun Daler's part isn't good. And I'm like, okay, you just are
All right,
stupid.
who's the
This is
cocksmoker that
dumb.
wrote this thing? Let me go
Yeah.
find this guy. Like, seriously. But then again, they're still smarter because that last Decibel Fest this year was atrocious and the lineups get worse every year. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I say that out loud? They're not sponsoring us. Who cares?
It's funny too because one of my buddies who like he doesn't really listen to like what I do. Like he's a fan of like new metal and he likes heavier stuff, but he was like, "What have you been listening to lately?" And I sent him the record, and he was just like, "I know what they're going for. I just don't like it." And I'm like, "Hey, that's fair.
Sure.
It's
I
not
mean,
for everybody, but
it's
I
not.
think they're
Tastes are
missing the
different.
point.
Yeah.
I, they're missing the point of it. It's because it's 2025, dude. Like, I've heard, like, don't get me wrong, Your Spirit Dies. That record is fucking great, but I've heard it 70,000 times. It's good. The
Fair. Yeah.
production's great, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But when you hear the Orthodox record, it's just something new to me. It's new. And it's not, it's like when Converge put out Jane Doe. It's like, holy fuck. Like
Mhm.
everybody's got to
Yeah.
follow that now. Like I see, and I told Jay this too, like last week, like because we heard some of the tracks before that. I'm like, people are gonna have to follow this record now because this is the new, this is where this is
Hmm.
going, whether you like it or not. Because you can't constantly put out the same records over and over and over. The only band that can do that is Hatebreed, Meshuggah, and
Cannibal
like
Corpse.
Corpse, shit like that. Because you know what you're getting. But like
Right.
you
Yeah.
need to stand out these days. And I think this record is standing out. And I think that's what's really special about it, man. Seriously. Like
Thank you.
it's going to be very hard for a band right now to top that because, like I said, like Century Media knew what they were looking at. Like when they heard, I guess what I don't know what they heard and made them sign you guys, but like they knew what they were going to get with this record. I'm assuming they're very happy with it.
I hope so. Actually, spoke to them less on this record than before, just because we had a little more hands-on management this time around, which
Okay.
was nice for my uh, administrative headache. But yeah, I mean, Sonia and Mike Gitter, all of them have always been huge supporters. They signed us in the middle of the pandemic when we weren't even sure if we'd ever play a show again. So like I've always appreciated the belief that they've had in the project. But in terms of, I think kind of just lending to what you said, Tim, like hard to follow and all that. Like I'm not going to speak to what could or couldn't be hard to follow because like I think a lot of it is subjective in the same way. Like I could say the same thing about like a record that came out that I'm a part of is the new Callous Cowboys record, and I don't think you're going to hear a record sound like that for until they put one out, you know. But there's just you never know who's writing what.
Mhm.
It is. I am intrigued to see if the recognition we've received from this influences people in a way that will be recognizably, um, that will be like recognizably from us.
Yeah.
Uh,
I know what you mean.
and I think I can also say, and I've said with confidence, that whether it's good or bad, I don't know any other bands that sound like we do.
And that's
Um,
exactly my point right
Hmm.
there.
and I'm very proud of that because I don't know that many bands that sound the way that we do. Also in the sense that like I don't know a lot of bands that perform the way that we do. Uh, especially for the guys behind me. I get to. I was talking to Blythe from No Cure the other day about how blessed I am as a front man to have the band behind me that I do because I can go
Yeah.
out and do the weird like dancey shit straight into like the really intense stuff with full confidence because I know that behind me everything is
Hmm.
perfect and I know that they're doing their own thing too. And the way that they're able to perform what they perform while playing what they play is crazy to me.
Yeah. No, you're
So,
right. I mean, there's like been one record in the last 3 years where I listen to and I go, that is something new and refreshing. And I think Jay will agree with this. That new Graphic Nature record absolutely blew my fucking mind.
Yeah, yeah. Another band on the same trajectory. I just saw they got booked to who are they opening for? Somebody
They're doing the
not small
Straight from the
potatoes.
Path Europe
Yes,
run.
yes, they're
oh,
Yeah.
doing
that's
the
awesome.
Euro run. And for a bunch of guys from working class London, right? Like Harvey is the nicest dude. And yeah, they're doing something different. Right? I think they finally latched on to something. Adam, let me ask you,
Well,
Braun from
hold on.
oh, go
I'm
on.
sorry, Jay. Have you heard that record, Adam? The Graphic
No,
Nature? Dude, I really think you'd be into that,
Yeah.
man.
I'm gonna
There,
look it up on Spotify right now.
there's actually some parts that what is it, Human Tim? Is that the one single? Where
Dude,
it's actually
that
it's
fucking
a
song
perfect song. Yeah.
crushes, dude. Like,
Graphic
and
Nature.
and I bring that band up because, like I said, they were one of the only bands in the last 3 4 years where I was like, this is something different, this is something new, and this is something that I really fucking love.
Yeah, Tim, you sent this to me, and I just was a bad friend and didn't listen to it. But I've
Yeah,
seen that record cover
I do
because
it
you
to him
sent it
all
to
the
me.
time.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Do
I'm
it to him
used
all
to
the
it by
time.
now.
Yeah, right.
No, but
Tim,
seriously,
did you
when
find
you
this band
have
Orthodox? Yo, I haven't said that to you fucking 9 months ago, Dick.
yeah,
Sorry.
like even when you like even if you don't have time, whatever, but when you like leave for tour, you're driving or something, put that on, man. I
I
think
will.
you'll really be impressed with that record.
Cool. I will
Uh,
definitely do so.
I want to
Good.
ask, how did Braun come about? I mean, he's Georgia, right? Aren't they local, close-ish to
I
you
think
guys?
Atlanta. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not a big Mastodon guy personally, but Mike and Shiloh and Ben love Mastodon. It came about because Shiloh, his whole gig is selling merch for Lorna Shore, and they did that three-headed monster thing or two-headed monster tour, whatever. Whereas Lorna Shore, Gojira, and Mastodon, so he got to know Braun pretty well, and he actually we were throwing around ideas of who do we want to do this part because we in our head we were like this needs to be like melodic in some way,
Hmm.
and uh whenever we were trying to figure out who we wanted to go to, he just kind of was like, "What about Braun?" And I was like, "Do you know him well enough to ask?" He was like, "Yeah," and he texted him while we were on this like Discord call, just talking about different stuff for like track order and all this, and like before he even hears the song, he's like, "Yep, I'm in. Send it to me." So shout out Braun for
Cool.
doing it, and then also like he had you talk about busy. That dude told us he would do it in July, and I don't think he had time to actually do it until like November, December.
Damn.
Jesus.
He just couldn't. He like every window that he had, either somebody was sick or something got changed or whatever. But I mean, he sends it to us, and we're like, oh nope, that's perfect. And because we got down to crunch time to where we were like, oh, if we don't get this by the time we get home from that Gideon tour that we did, then we're gonna have to figure out a plan B. And he sends it to us, and we just it was like this. Whoa, that's so cool. Braun Daler's on our song. Whoa, that's so cool. How did he come up with this? Holy shit, we don't have to worry about this anymore. It was just like this
Mm.
huge like wave of relief as well as like excitement all at once. It was so cool.
It's
I'm not
awesome.
the biggest fan of that band either, but yeah, I like the
I
song. It fits.
I appreciate the only album I ever go back to and listen to is more than once or twice is Leviathan.
Hmm.
Right, because I appreciate the musicianship of those guys. It's really,
Sure,
really,
sure.
really
It's
impressive.
nuts.
Not my thing, but it's impressive. Yeah.
It is nuts.
What else you got, Tim?
Uh, I do want to talk about the tour you guys are going out with.
Fair.
Remind me of who it is again, and let me see if I'm right. It's Mugshot. It's you guys Mugshot from Joy, right?
Hmm.
And then there's one. Who's the other? I can't remember the other one.
Omerta.
Muerta
Oh, okay. Right now, who's the opener? Is it From Joy?
from Joy.
Have you ever played with them before?
Haven't played with them, but I've seen them.
Dude, they are so fucking sick, man.
That new
Yeah.
song is fucking wild.
Oh my
Yeah.
god, man. Not to mention the mugshot stuff I've heard is ridiculously good. That's I'm kind of aggravated you guys aren't coming to Philly. Not gonna lie, that's a fucking great tour, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. The mugshot stuff is cool. They were a band that I appreciated. Like when I saw them, I was like, oh, this is really cool. I never could really get into the recordings of it. And then I heard that they were doing a record with Randy, and I was like, oh, cool. So this next record is gonna be crazy. And I got Pure Noise to send it to me whenever we were talking about them for an offer. And I listened to it and I was like, yep, this is nuts for sure. And Muerta, I've always been a fan of. Gus, their singer, filled in on bass for a band that I filled in on drums for back in 2015. So I've known him for, God, 10 years now. And we've always talked about Orthodox and Omerta. Omerta actually used to be like a crossover, like thrash hardcore band.
Okay.
And then at one point, they just kind of made a shift and started doing all this like crazy new metal shit.
Mm-hmm.
And from that moment on, I was like, oh, bro, I was like, we have to play shows together. Like, we got to do it. And so I was stoked that they were able to lock it in. And then we kept the initial vision of the tour was we really wanted to have like Muerta was the first band to confirm. From there, we were like, okay, cool. We know we have our like fucking weird niche freak show band taken care of. We got that. We locked that in. Okay. Now we wanted to find like something kind of like a hardcore band. So we were talking about Judiciary. We wanted to try to get Gridiron. We talked about all these other bands. We ended up going with sending something to Mugshot, and they confirmed it, which was awesome. They were willing to actually drop off of like incarceration and shit so that they could do the tour, which meant a ton to us. Um, and then when we locked them in, we were like, okay, so now we've got kind of just like this, you know, blister, or what's the word I'm looking for? Bludgeoning like metalcore band We've got this crazy metalcore band in Muerta. So then we're like, all right, what's another like hardcore band we could do? Blah blah blah. And we started thinking like, what about Contention? What about Domain?
Oh,
What
that would have
about
been yo. That contention
Yo, that
record is
contention,
so
that
good.
fucking set they played at FYA was like, it was at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and the place went absolutely
oh,
bananas.
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure. They actually opened the last time that we headlined in Tampa, they played and they were fucking awesome.
Yeah, I was blown away.
So we started thinking about all these other hardcore bands and so on. And one by one, not available, can't do it for this reason, whatever. And I think because we had locked in Omerta, I didn't even think about From Joy anymore. I was just like, well, we've got
Mm,
that covered. Especially like they're both from Houston. So like I was just like, we got that covered, whatever. So I like they were kind of out of my mind for a minute. And we locked Omerta in last year. And so then we were talking about it, and then Mike was like, "Why don't we offer?" Or I don't remember who it was. They're like, "What about From Joy?" And I was like, "Holy shit, yeah! What about From Joy?" And we sent it to them, and they were like in instantly. I was like, "God, we could have done that months ago." And my brain just didn't bring them back up again for whatever reason. And they were like, "Yeah, we'll plan to release a few new songs around it and all this different stuff." And I was like, "Awesome, amazing." And
that's
so it
great.
went from being this thing where I wanted to have like metallic band, metalcore band, hardcore band to just being Orthodox presents the niche metalcore tour. And it's awesome though. Like I'm genuinely so excited for every band that we're playing with. It's going to be such an awesome time, and I think I think the shows are going to be pretty bonkers. We're
Yeah.
actually announcing a show tomorrow in Nashville the day before our release show. So our release show is us, Year of the Knife, Inclination, Mugshot, and Muerta from Joy. And we're announcing a show tomorrow that's going to take place the day before outdoors of this like old venue. Um, and it's going to be a free show with us, No Cure, Shogun, this band called Twin Stacks, and then Austin's new band, Die Trying. And so like I'm just kind of thinking about like the lineups that we have going forward and all that. And I'm like, man, these are going to be some dangerous nights, I think, because we're not playing big rooms. Like we actually kind of downsized a few different spots where we could probably push more tickets. But like Houston, for instance, we always do very well in Houston. We have two bands from Houston on the tour, and we were like, yeah, let's put it in this 250 cap room. So it's like we're kind of deliberately setting ourselves up for calamity.
Mayhem.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm excited to see what unfolds over the next month and a half.
Better hope that cold goes away before you go out.
Dude, I don't know what the fuck happened to me. Like literally
Allergies.
this like last Friday, I just suddenly had a sinus infection that like hurt to the point where I thought maybe I had COVID, and it's been gone. It's alleviated super quick. But yeah, I hearing myself talk right now, I'm like it sounds like I have cotton stuffed up my nose right now. It's driving me crazy.
You don't sound. You sound like your normal self. You just got the
Little
sniffles
Slightly
going.
sniffles,
congested.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
So going to the vocal coach and stuff. Obviously, it was great for you. But how much of that is improved on the road for you too? Like live, or like are you noticing live that you're way like also since he showed you like you're using the wrong vocal cords, like all that kind of stuff. I don't know if like were you ever getting gassed on the road like during your set and then you had to like chill out for a second, maybe drink some water. Are you noticing now like, oh, I'm good, man. Like I can keep going and going and going. Like have has it improved in that way as well?
It's improved substantially in the sense that so the whole science behind it for what I do in particular is you want to use what's called, like I said, your false chords, which is like your
Okay.
bigger vocal folds. Because they're bigger, they require less friction to like cause the rasp, and they also heal faster. And so that has been substantial just by the sense that like I'm using the right thing. Like we actually, when we did that Comeback Kid tour, I got the flu, like whatever flu A or whatever was going around earlier this year, I got that, and you could not tell because I wasn't using the vocals that were like directly connected to my, my nasal whatevers, and so it has helped substantially in the sense of using the right part for the job always helps. But then the actual technique of like, hey, less is more. You don't have to be insanely loud. That's why you have a microphone. You save those moments for when you want it, but like you don't need it all the time. That helps a lot in terms of actual stamina, but also breath control and so on.
Mm.
So like I've definitely, I mean, like you said yourself, you notice a difference in watching the videos. I feel more confident. I don't have to worry show to show about what am I going to sound like. And like I wasn't getting gassed necessarily, but like there were, say we do we're on tour, we probably play 6 shows in a 7 day week. Probably one or two of those shows at some point I would be like at 70% performance, if
Mm.
not a little less, depending on where we were at in the tour. And that would be hard to bounce back from if we didn't have an off day almost immediately.
Mm.
And now I'm not, which also, again, that kind of was a big reason as to why I started trying to do the weird talking stuff, which kind of lent to the style we were leaning into, anyways. But um, especially live, I was really milking that. And now I feel a lot more confident in the sense of I know that I'm gonna sound okay. I know that I can do extra vocal things and it doesn't sound like I'm like depleting my resources. So like live now I do a lot of extra like growls and whatever just for the sake of intensity that I wouldn't do before because I didn't want to like push my limits any further than I needed to. Um, and on top of that, like my speaking voice doesn't blow out near as bad. I still lose a little bit of my like falsetto or whatever, but it's night and day difference, and it makes touring overall
It's
so
awesome.
much less stressful for me. So
Well, yeah, yeah. I mean, and it's not like you just sit there, you just stand there and scream. Like you move around, like the whole band moves around. Like you guys have a stage show where like everybody's moving around. So like that has to lend to the like if you're not using the right chords,
yeah,
that's definitely got to
Yeah.
lend to the problem where like I could see like someone gassing out like shit, man. Like because you got to perform and you got to perform with your voice as well.
yeah, and I
I
think I actually like really made it a point early on of us touring. I was like, okay, I'm never in my brain. I was like, I don't know how to do the vocal thing proficiently. I don't know what I need to do to change, but like I can't figure it out. So I started on nights where my voice was bad. I started really leaning into the physical performance aspect because I'm like, if I'm going crazy, nobody's gonna really notice that the voice wasn't there. They're gonna be like, oh yeah, of
Yeah.
course his voice wasn't there. Did you see what he was doing?
Yeah.
And now being able to have both those tools in my bag is unreal. It feels so much more powerful, and it gives me so much more, like I said, just so much more confidence in my overall performance. Even in days where the voice wasn't there and so on, like it's hard to act so fucking flamboyantly confident on stage the way that I do uh, if I don't have the voice to back it up.
right.
And sometimes I'm able to like push through that insecurity, but like there'll be shows where I'm like, man, I don't like how I sound, and it makes it hard for me to like lean in. So now having that, I'm able to give the same energy every night on all levels and actually be more consistent and actually lock into what I need to do better.
Yeah, it's funny too because like, well, my girlfriend was at that show that she seen you like before she met you. She sees you up there singing, and you look like a madman. And then when she meets you, like I remember leaving that night, and she was like, "One thing that's crazy about the music you guys listen to is like when he was up there, I was like." Wow, this dude's fucking nuts. And then he comes and talks to us, and he's just like the nicest dude ever. I'm like, see, I told you, this
Yeah.
isn't all just kill your mother, kill your father stuff. Like this is like it's not what everybody says it is. And like
Right.
I
Right.
think she gained like a fucking what's the word, Jay?
She gained an understanding. She gained an
Yeah.
understanding about what it is. It's
Yeah.
not. Yeah, it's not just lunatics like just bouncing around. Adam, you made me think of I read some article where Taylor Swift, to prepare for her tour, she would do the entire set nonstop on a treadmill. That's how she prepared to
Yep.
run, sing and dance and all that and outfit change. I mean, it's kind of fucking bananas that this girl was spending however many hours a day on a treadmill nonstop running and singing. But
Oh, dude, there's kind of in that same ballpark, but way more talented. Ariana Grande. She has a song. I don't even really like the song, but she's got the song called Side to Side, where they did an MTV performance where I think the music video was her on a stationary bike.
Mm-hmm.
And so for the live performance, they did it on a bike, but like the song is like dun 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 dun. So her feet are at that tempo the whole time. And so I don't remember where I saw it, but talked about like the training she had to do to be able to keep that tempo and like actually like exercise on this exercise
That's
bike and then
wild.
sing the way that she does. It made me gain a whole new respect for her. And I'm a big Ariana Grande fan, and I've seen her twice now, and she dances like hard dancing the
Hmm.
whole time and is still hitting like whistle tones and shit where I'm just like, I don't understand. Like that kind of stuff makes me be like, okay, I could probably do better. Like this is insane.
Next up, Orthodox opening for Ariana Grande with
Don't even tease me.
their direct opening for Orthodox would be who would be the true opener? Sangwa Sugabog.
God.
Can you imagine?
Uh
Jesus, the fans that would be something else.
Let's talk about what else you guys got playing this year that you could talk about.
Furnace Fest. We're
Awesome.
gonna be playing the Shed. I think Friday announces festival in Memphis called Pest Fest that we're headlining with Ingrown, Your Spirit Dies, No Cure. It's the first time we've been back to Memphis, and I don't know how long. I'm very, very excited to get back over there. Um, Aside from that, I can't say anything right now because I don't know when the rest of it is going to be announced. But we do have another tour at the end of the year with a really, really cool lineup. And
Cool.
then we have stuff on the books all the way to May and June of 2026. So
Jeez.
Damn.
yeah, it's going to be a busy record cycle for us for sure.
Well, here's the biggest question when we get a new record. No, I'm just kidding with you.
We're talking already about like when are we gonna go in and record
I
some
thought Tim was
more
gonna ask
stuff.
you, oh, you got hoodies in the
No, no,
store.
no.
I would have worn my shirt. My shirt gets here tomorrow.
I got two Orthodox hoodies. We're good, and I'll
uh,
buy another one when they come out.
We're doing you're gonna hate this even more. We're doing because we're not coming to Philly, we're doing Dickies work shirts for this tour.
Mm.
that's
Yeah,
awesome, and that is so
yeah,
new metal. That's
yeah.
awesome.
Speaking
I'm
of
go
speaking
on, Tim.
of stuff like that, how's the Jinko thing going? Because that's fucking. I'm super jealous of that.
Man,
Because when we started, I always said to Jay, we need to hit up Jinko and try and get a.
I have emailed them so many times.
I was like, yeah, we need to get Jinko on, like, just because it would just be hilarious. But like, that's when I heard you guys did that, I'm like, that's fucking amazing. How
yeah,
did that? I don't remember if we talked about this. How did that come about?
it came about because our manager we released that song Soaking Nerves and Revolver. We made a joke about like if you're not wearing big pants, don't listen to this song or whatever.
Yeah.
And Revolver took that and released a statement saying Orthodox releases big pants or brings big pants music or whatever. And so we took that and just ran with it and ran with it all the way to our manager going to Jinko and being like, "Hey, this is a thing. You guys should like send us some free shit." And they just sent us a bunch of free stuff that one time. I don't even know if the creative director that hooked it up still works there, so I don't even know if we could get more.
Hmm.
We've been so wrapped up in like trying to get the album stuff tied up and the tour tied up that like I haven't even thought to ask, but I probably should. So we'll see. I don't know. I don't even wear Jinkos on stage. That's the funny thing. The pair of pants that I wear every single tour is just literally tactical combat cargos I got from a military surplus store.
Mhm.
Military surplus is the best. The ripstop ones last forever. They last
Yeah,
forever.
yeah.
You guys put out the Big Pants music song, and then who was the guy that gave you a 2 out of 10?
Oh, Decibel?
I
And
It's
don't
yeah,
not. It's
some
not
dude on
Mondrian,
Decibel.
is it? It's not
and
Albert, was it?
and then
Oh,
Des
No,
Decibel
I don't want
comes
to put
out
the
and
guy
goes,
on. I don't want to put the guy on blast
hey,
either.
you know
Like
what?
he's
Opinions
doing
like
his job,
assholes. Everybody
and
got one.
if he doesn't like it, it is what it is. He's just doing his job. But I
"Oh no,
mean,
I was just
yeah,
gonna make a joke. You guys put out the Big Pants music song, and Decibel comes out, fucking sucks. Fuck
yeah,
new metal."
yeah. I, you know, Decibel, I guess doesn't like the mosh.
I,
Yeah,
I think that's a fair
That's fine.
statement.
Yeah,
Hey,
whatever.
you
They
know
still
what?
printed it, so
Yeah, it's all
Nah.
good. Your name's still out there, and it doesn't even matter. One more thing, and then as I know it's getting late, I really find it cool that Mugshot turned down incarceration to go on the tour, and I'll tell you why I think it's smart. Okay, you're going to incarceration. I think the crowd for incarceration is not what a lot of people expect it's going to be because you're going to get like
Mhm.
the disturbed crowds and like the Five Finger crowds. You're going to get all them crowds. Going out on tour with you guys and From Joy and all that stuff, you're getting an actual better representation of what they are every night instead of one
mhm.
night. And I think that's super fucking smart of that band.
Mm-hmm.
So
Absolutely.
seriously, props to them for doing that, man, because that was super smart on their fucking end right
I
there.
mean, think
Oh
about
yeah,
it. You can play one of these giant festivals, Incarceration, Louder Than Life, all these things. You're up on stage against three other bands.
Yeah, dude.
I mean, like it's
Let's be straight here,
with a
Dre. Not to
20-minute
cut you
window.
off. Yeah,
Yeah.
and exactly, not to cut you off, but let's be straight here. Three-quarters of them people are gonna go, oh, this fucking band sucks. The other quarter are gonna be into it, might buy a shirt or a CD. But three-quarters of these people are either gonna be wasted while they're playing. They're not going to listen to it. They're going to be too busy thinking they're going to hit on some girl, fight, all that kind of shit. I've been to them festivals, dude. Them thing. Nobody really cares about the bands there. You know who? You know what bands they care about at them festivals? The ones that are headlining, like say, like Korn or fucking
Right. I'm looking at
Mudvayne.
the headliners. It's the
It's
Five Finger Death Punch,
exactly,
Marilyn
dude.
Manson, Slipknot, Falling in Reverse, Beartooth, and Knock
Yes.
Loose.
So them bands, them people there, they're not gonna really care who Mugshot is because A, they probably never heard of them, and B, they don't have the fucking the brain power to even know that that band is good. You know what I mean? Like I'm not trying to be a dick. I'm just trying to be, you know, I'm just being real
Yeah.
with it. Like going on tour with
no,
you guys was the way smarter fucking
yeah,
plan.
and I appreciate it from them in the sense of like, yes, a tour is always going to be more profitable in terms of your growth than like one single show.
Exactly.
That doesn't necessarily mean that every tour is that. So for them to believe in
Fair.
our tour enough to be willing to drop something like that,
Yep.
just it was when they told me they were willing to do that, I was like, oh, that's amazing.
It
That
speaks
like that,
volumes for them.
yeah.
Yeah.
That the belief in us makes me be like, okay, cool. You guys are team players for sure. Like
Mm.
that's awesome.
Yeah,
So
like I literally want to get them on after the tour and just tell them how fucking great of a choice that
Smart
was.
move. Yeah.
Yeah,
mhm.
Yeah.
it's a smart move, and it shows that they're like, you know what, we're in this for the long run, not just for some festival that people are gonna forget about it the next day anyway.
Yeah,
It's just my opinion. It's smart. So if people are not okay with that, oh well, whatever.
Well, I mean, go to Incarceration. Go tell Frankie from Amur that Tim from Ill Street News says hi.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, definitely
he'll
do
start
that.
cursing automatically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Go on,
one
Tim.
more thing, Adam. It is June 11th as we speak.
mhm.
Give us three of your favorite records so far this year, since we probably won't talk to you till the end of the year. So I'm curious right now what you think. And Jay loves the Puma Blue record, so I already know he's going to
Yo,
say that.
that is one of the best. That and Maggie Lindemann are probably the two bands that I've enjoyed the most that you've recommended to me.
Oh,
Whenever I
cool.
need to change, I can't listen to fucking somebody screaming. I love fucking Phil Posner. Whitechapel's metal album of the year. But when I need to get away from that, it's Puma Blue.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
and I trust it's that sort of stuff. Yeah.
That's awesome. I would say album of the years for me so far. I put the Calisto Boys one up there. Um, I think it's. I love bands that take risks. I think that they took a lot of risks and executed it really, really well. Aside from even the fact that they had me on it is fucking awesome. I love them to death for it. But it is like the song that follows mine is one of my favorite songs I've heard in a very long time. It's called Lemon. It's amazing. Um, Very big fan of that. Let's see what else. Really love the new Ingrown record.
Hmm.
That
Yeah.
band is awesome. Um, and I'm trying to think of anything outside of metal that has really stuck with me. Pretty much all year, all I've really listened to is like Waylon Jennings. I haven't listened to a lot of new music. Oh, actually, no. This band, Agonize. My buddies Tom and Nolan play in this band, and they're from Savannah, Georgia. They put out an EP the other day that's fucking crazy. Really, really, really cool. Like,
Check that out.
it's like a really weird, chaotic metalcore outfit that has insanely heavy parts. And I say metalcore not in the sense of like metalcore in terms of it's more like metallic hardcore, but it's like very obviously influenced by like big metal bands like Meshuggah and Gojira and things like that.
Is it highest form?
Yes.
Is
I
it a
think
five
so.
song EP?
Closed
Yes,
casket.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
I'll listen
That
to
is the
that in the
one.
morning.
Yeah.
Well, what do you, I know you're friends with Mike Sugars. What do you think of that Psycho Frame stuff?
I like the band a lot. I have not listened to the stuff they put out
Oh, wow.
yet. At least not the newest stuff. I have not deathcore. I have to be in the right mood to really listen to deathcore. Um, I will eventually get around to that, and I'm sure that I will love it because that band puts out insane music. I
They
just
are
haven't listened to it yet.
wickedly, wickedly talented. I mean,
Yeah,
you want to talk about a murderer's row of people who know what they're actually doing. And they got the totally lunatic, they got the totally insane drummer from Worm Shepherd,
yeah,
Leo, who's just like,
Dude's ridiculous.
he's like 20
yep.
years old and he's just unbelievable. Yeah.
I seen a video of him the other day. He was just like blasting along to some stuff, and I was fucking jaw dropped on the floor.
Yeah. And
Like
he,
this kid
it's like
is
he's not
sick,
even
dude.
trying. He's just sitting there like,
Yeah.
yeah, doing his shopping list in his head. All right. So we want to thank Adam for coming on again. We think everybody should check out Orthodox. A tour left open. We'll put a link in the show notes. Catch them on tour this summer with Mugshot, with Omerta, and with From Joy. Sadly, not in Philly, but that'll happen eventually. You guys know where to find us every Wednesday, 12 p.m. New episodes Friday, 12 p.m. New reaction vids, but not anything from Century Media. New Breed Underscore podcast from Instagram and Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. Newbreedpodcast at gmail.com. If you really don't like what you heard and you want to leave an audio complaint, 267-297-4627. We will play it on the air. Until next week, we want to thank Adam for joining. On behalf of Adam, Tim, and myself, I want to thank all of you for watching, listening again. And until next time, cheers.
Later.
See you.